Dude, I just went down this wild rabbit hole about Carl Jung, and holy shit, this guy basically figured out why we feel like aliens in our own species. Like, he literally identified 8 signs that you're part of some psychological elite club that nobody told you existed. And get this, if you've got even half these traits, you're apparently operating on some next-level consciousness shit that only 5% of people ever unlock. I'm talking about what Jung called differentiated consciousness, basically your brain running premium software while everyone else is stuck on the free trial of life. The plot twist that'll mess with your head. Here's the kicker though, Jung found out that these rare unicorns spend their whole lives thinking they're broken. Society's got them convinced that being deep, intense, and refusing to accept McDonald's-level answers to life's big questions makes them defective. It's like being told you're sick because you can see colors that others can't. But Jung was like, nah fam, you're not glitched, you're the update everyone else is waiting for. The 8 signs you're basically a walking software upgrade. 1. Your emotions hit different, like supernatural different. You don't just have feelings, emotions move through you like you're some kind of psychological surround sound system. When you're sad, it's not just tears, it's like your soul is composing a whole damn symphony about the nature of loss. Jung called this accessing the objective psyche, but I call it emotional 4K while everyone else is watching life in 480p. You walk into a room and immediately feel like you've been hit by everyone's emotional Wi-Fi passwords. It's exhausting but also kind of a superpower. 2. You ask questions like your life depends on it. While most people are content living on autopilot, you're over here like, but why do we pretend small talk is actual human connection? You can't help but poke holes in society's inflatable logic because your brain refuses to accept that's just how things are as a valid explanation. Jung would have loved you because you've got what he called the transcendent function. Basically, your psychological curiosity is so strong it threatens people's comfortable delusions. You're that friend who ruins movie night by asking too many plot questions. 3. You've mastered the art of not needing anyone's approval, the hard way. You didn't choose independence, it chose you after you realized depending on others for your self-worth is like trying to build a house on quicksand during an earthquake. Jung called this individuation fancy talk for I built myself from scratch and nobody gets the blueprints. Your solitude isn't loneliness, it's your psychological fortress where you remember who the hell you are underneath all the masks society handed you. 4. You're basically a human lie detector on steroids. You don't just notice things, you read people like they're walking around with their thoughts tattooed on their foreheads. When someone says I'm fine but their energy is screaming I'm dying inside, you can't unsee it. Jung would call this active imagination, but honestly, it's like having psychological X-ray vision. The downside? You become everyone's unpaid therapist and emotional dumping ground. 5. You're allergic to bullshit, especially the meaningful kind. You physically cannot get excited about shallow goals. It's like your soul has built-in bullshit detectors that start screaming when someone suggests you should care about things like follower counts or keeping up with the Joneses. You notice that when people like you try to live fake lives, your psyche literally rebels. Depression, anxiety, that gnawing emptiness, that's not mental illness, that's your authentic self staging a revolt. 6. You outgrow people like you outgrow clothes. You've probably had that painful realization where friends from your past look at the current you like you're some kind of philosophical alien. They remember when you used to shrink yourself to fit in, and now you're out here living in full HD while they're still watching life through Instagram filters. Jung understood this as psychological evolution being irreversible. Once you see behind the curtain of social conditioning, you can't go back to playing pretend. 7. You're like human emotional Wi-Fi. When you show up authentically, people start spilling their deepest secrets like you've got some kind of truth serum aura. You create what Jung called psychological holding space. Basically, you're so good at seeing people that they feel safe enough to be real with you. But here's the catch, you get so good at holding space for everyone else that you forget to ask who's holding space for you. Classic helper syndrome. 8. You feel called to something bigger, but have no clue what. There's this persistent itch in your soul telling you you're meant for something more than the ordinary hamster wheel existence. It's not about fame or money, it's about alignment, living in harmony with whatever the hell your deeper purpose actually is. Jung saw this as evidence of creative potential desperately trying to break free. Your calling isn't just personal, it's transpersonal. You're not just here to fulfill yourself, you're here to help evolve human consciousness. No pressure, right? The reality check nobody prepared you for. Jung spent his career studying people like us and came to this wild conclusion: we're not just weird, we're evolutionarily important. We're like consciousness scouts, exploring territories of human potential that others haven't even discovered yet. Every time you felt like an outsider, you were actually pioneering new ways of being human. Every time someone told you to tone it down, you were demonstrating possibilities that threaten their limited worldview. But here's Jung's final mic drop: you have to learn to love your rarity without needing everyone to understand it. Some people will always be threatened by your questions, uncomfortable with your depth, and confused by your refusal to accept limitations as permanent. And that's not your problem to fix. The bottom line: you're not too much for this world is running on outdated software and you're the walking, talking update. Your sensitivity isn't weakness, it's high-definition perception in a low-resolution world. Your intensity isn't a bug, it's a feature that most people haven't unlocked yet. Jung knew that people like us are essential for humanity's next evolutionary leap. We're the ones asking the uncomfortable questions, refusing to settle for shallow connections, and pushing the boundaries of what it means to be fully human. So stop apologizing for being psychologically rare. The world doesn't need you to be smaller, quieter, or more convenient. It needs you to be exactly what you are: a walking example of human potential that most people don't even know exists yet. Welcome to the 5%, my fellow psychological unicorn. The view from up here might be lonely sometimes, but damn, at least we can actually see what's going on.